this next video is talking about the lead attorney says some married men should cheat. I get it. I know you're like, what?
That's just crazy.
Why would it ever make sense for a man to cheat? That's the most ridiculous thing.
I
And
want to hear this.
coming from a Christian standard, like even a genius could never come up with a nuanced list of how people or when they can cheat. Go ahead. What do you think?
Oh, I was reading Proverbs.
Hey, let's hear it.
Proverbs 5, starting from verse 15. It says, drink the. So this is talking about enjoying your marriage, right? It's verse 15. Drink water from your own cistern, aka, if you can't, it's referencing your person, right? Your husband or wife, whichever it is.
Yeah.
Drink water from your own cistern, water flowing from your own well, right?
Mm-hmm.
Should your spring flow in the streets of water in the public squares? Mm-hmm. So in other words, this shouldn't be out for anybody else. Verse 17, they should be for you alone and not for you to share with strangers. Now, it's not talking about an actual well or water. It's not. This is I can't. Is it hyperbole? I can't remember the word, but it's giving you a picture of something else. Verse 17. They should be for you alone and not for you to share with strangers. Let your fountain be blessed and take pleasure in the wife of your youth, a loving doe, a graceful fawn. Let her breasts always satisfy you, right?
Yeah.
Be lost in her love forever. Why, my son, would you be infatuated with a forbidden woman? Here's what we're talking about. Why, my son, would you be infatuated with a forbidden woman for? Right?
Yes.
Or embrace the breast of a stranger.
Yep.
And this goes against when people are like, "Oh, you can have multiple wives. It's in the Bible." Who said that was good for you?
Yep.
You didn't say that. It said one right here. It's like, why you going to a stranger breast?
Yeah.
Why you having multiple? And it says, yeah. So why, verse 20? Why, my son, would you be infatuated with a forbidden woman or embrace the breast of a stranger? Don't go nowhere else. You have one.
You have
keep
one.
one.
Keep one.
One is fantastic.
Man.
Okay. Man.
I always say this. If a mother has a son and the son is the most ridiculously foolish person in the world, she can't leave him to go find another son. That's exactly what marriage is like. A covenant means more than a son to a mother. Like, that's my son, that's my blood. Yes, that is your blood. But also a covenant means more than a blood relative. It means more. People can't get that through their heads. It means more than a blood relative. That's why it's not just a piece of paper. So this is in the middle of the conversation. Please go back and read the whole Matthew chapter 19 if you want to get the idea of this. But people came to him and said, why did Moses then command to give a writing of divorce to put away their wife? So Christ said, Moses, because of the hardness of your hearts, suffered you to put away your wives. Right. So because people were just stubborn, people just wanted things their own way. Moses was like, all right, y'all can do this divorce thing that you want so bad. You could go ahead and do it. He says, but from the beginning, it was not so. Right. Divorce wasn't really a thing from the beginning. And I say unto you, whoever shall put away his wife, except it be for fornication, which is adultery, unless your wife or your husband commits adultery, you cannot divorce, and shall marry another committed adultery. Isn't that crazy? So if you divorce your significant other, your wife or your husband, and there has been no adultery in the marriage, y'all are still married. And whoever marries you commits adultery. Oh, man. Yeah, we're divorced. We signed the papers. But then someone goes and sleeps with your ex-wife, they have committed adultery. That person has committed adultery. That's crazy. And whoso marrieth her which is put away doeth commit adultery. Yep. So if someone else marries a wife who's divorced from you, even though there was no fornication, that person commits adultery, even if they didn't, sleep together at all until they got married. Right. And then the disciples are like, all right, then I guess no one should marry then. And Christ says, all men cannot receive this saying. Say they to whom it is given. Right. So unless this wisdom is given to you, you will not understand. He said, for there are some eunuchs which were so born from their mother's wombs, and there are some eunuchs which were made eunuchs of men, and there were eunuchs which have made eunuchs themselves for the kingdom of heaven's sake. He that is able to receive it, let him receive it. Now I need you to keep me honest on this one, right? Is Christ saying that there are people who do not involve themselves in sexual intimacy their whole lives? Both being born, being made by men, and for the kingdom of God. Like, they don't have sex at all. So he's basically saying, don't make it about sex that you commit adultery. Let's not make it about that. Because there are some people who have just put it away. So sex isn't the issue here. It's your heart. What do you think?
I think it might be a reference to, well, not a reference, but a statement to saying we can survive without it.
There you
know
go.
what I mean? You can still live without those even the physical parts,
There you go.
Unfortunately, we don't want to hear that, but there are people out there. So I think it was emphasizing that part, like you were saying.
Yeah, I think that's exact. Some men will say my wife isn't, having sex with me anymore. Man, I need to leave her. Huh?
But but hey, we're going into a different realm over here.
No, we're not actually. That's what this video has to do about. So let's jump straight into it.
And then we can get into the tits, but yeah, but for those who have, wait a minute, no, let's go.
All right. We could talk about this all day. This is a great topic. All right.
Why are you cheating when you get a divorce? Just divorce her.
You're gonna be like, oh well. Right there. See how easy it was?
Easy it is.
And hold on, this guy is not even I don't believe he's a Christian, right?
No, heck no.
Yeah. See,
he's way too smart to be a Christian, man. He was a lawyer. Yeah, come on, man.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. When you don't value, I'm not gonna say too much here, but you could just see the difference of value that people who know what marriage is versus people that may not know what marriage. And I'm not talking about know what marriage is contractually.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about covenantally. Like how God made it.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? People that don't value that part of it only gonna look at the contractual part, because that's the only part that they would value.
Mm-hmm.
Because they don't value God's word, so it don't matter.
Yep.
Yep. Only what they can see, and the other side of things. So it makes sense. But of course you would say that if you don't know what God says about it.
Mm-hmm. I'm glad we went over the verse that you talked about and the one that I just talked about, because if we didn't do that, you wouldn't understand how conniving what this man is saying is. He may not be conniving, but the things that we say as people without really knowing knowledge, without having knowledge, can sometimes be more detrimental, even though we mean well.
She's gonna take half. That's what you agreed to when you married her.
Suffering through marriage is anything different than suffering through trying to make your business succeed, or suffering through college, or suffering through the bars, or the biggest exams of your life. Like, you don't sleep, you don't eat, all you do is study. Your life is a mess because you're so focused on studying. But when it comes to marriage, if there are problems that are persisting, just leave. That's done. There's no suffering through it.
Did you get a prenup? No, I didn't have anything back then. Well, there you go. Divorce her ass. If she makes you unhappy, whether she's sleeping with you or not, or disrespecting you or not, or whatever she's doing or not doing, if you are unhappy and you look down the road and you're like, man, this is not getting any better, just divorce her. The fuck are you cheating? Divorce her and start living your life. Be free. You don't have.
So here's that part. He said, divorce her and don't cheat. But we just read that if you divorce without there being cheating, whomever you marry, you and that person are both committing adultery. Both of you are still cheating, because the problem isn't the contract being annulled or, put away. It's the covenant being broken. The covenant, y'all need to get this. The covenant. Oh, well, we're not Christians. We don't even recognize the covenant. So then why get married? Why not just go live with the woman? Oh, because there are laws around it. Why are there laws around it? Why does the law care so much? But anyway, man, you have something to say?
Have any kids? You don't have any kids. Be free. Why are you still in the house with her? Well, I paid for the house. Well, the judge is not going to give you the house, but maybe I can sell it and split the equity 50-50. But.
Oh, I remember how he's basically telling you the cheat part, telling you directly to do what God says not to do. Whether you realize it or not, when you do that, your life is not going to be as smooth as you want it to be. There's reasons why God tells us not to do certain things.
Mm-hmm.
It's really for our benefits. And he's telling you to do something that feels beneficial in the moment, but then what's coming out of the ground from that, what you're going to reap from that, it's not going to be anything you could enjoy.
It's funny too, because just like a parent, when we were young, our parents would tell us stuff. They were like, dang, like, why are you still bugging me about this? Like, stop saying this. And then we're like, 25, 26, and we're like, oh yeah, what my mom and dad said they were so right. Like, dang, they were right about this. And people come about the same way about the Bible. The Bible says a whole bunch of stuff that you're like, shut up. And then when you actually when you actually sit down and think about it, you're like, wait a second, that actually makes sense. Why?
It makes sense. It's practical stuff.
Very practical.
Man.
Why do we say that, women in this Western world and all over the world, it's mostly the Western world. The women here are becoming less quality, less valuable. They're becoming, prostitutes and whores and what have you.
Prostates.
Yeah, becoming prostates. But in the same breath, you're gonna tell a man.
Hold on, wait. So I just thought of something. They're in a prostate state. Crazy.
But in the same breath, you're gonna talk about how you could get divorced. Or, how you could get divorced and what constitutes cheating. So we haven't gone to when you can cheat part. This is the list. If y'all are seeing this is the list that this man has for you to be able to cheat, right? So he says, first, you have to be married, okay? 2, the husband has to be paying the majority of the household bills, at least 51% and over. Very smart guy. Remember, this is an attorney. He's a lawyer. He's very smart. He knows numbers. So marriage has to do with your bills and how much money you bring to the table. So if the man is super rich and stuff, well, you as a man, you have to make more than her. So do not go after that woman because she will make cheating hard for you. 3, the wife must be capable to have intimacy, but unwilling to do it with the husband. So she's able to. There's nothing wrong with her. She's in good health, but she just doesn't want to, right? And then lastly, the husband and the wife must have 1 or more children if you want to cheat. And that's where he was saying that if y'all don't have children, just get divorced. So if you meet these things on this list right here, you should be able to cheat.
How many? 4?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wait, also, so you should be or shouldn't be?
You should be able to cheat. Because if you, number 4, if you have at least 1 or more children, You can't just leave your family. You have to become a deadbeat dad. You can't just leave the family. So you become a deadbeat dad by cheating on your wife, and that the marriage is still solid and strong.
Let me get a number one.
Yeah. So this whole time, only that's all he's talking about. Like, I'm so smart. I think outside the box. No one has ever talked about this like this, and these are the reasons why you should be able to cheat in your marriage as a man. Wow. If you guys realize how demonic this thought process is, completely desiring to destroy marriage in its entirety. That's what this is right now. You have anything to say before we move forward, though? That's all about one.
Yeah, and then like another thing that just hit my head, that he said is like, if you feel like she's not doing this, if you feel that's what it's based off of.
Yeah.
If she's not doing it for you, if you feel like it's not going well, if you feel like this is the problem, the feel like is always gonna change.
Yep.
You know.
Sure is.
It's like that's the basis of what she's saying these things from.
But
and that's where the destruction comes from mostly.
I mean, I get it though. If the woman isn't doing stuff that, you know, married couples are supposed to be doing, you know, the roles and doing things around the house, it can be extremely difficult. I'm not denying.
Oh yes, and I didn't say that to exclude feelings. I was just emphasizing that to show what it's based off of, and I guess the grounds. Yeah, that's I guess my head just dropped everything I was thinking. But just go ahead.
All right. That's pretty much it for this video. That's the bulk of this video. Man, I'm glad we brought in those passages, man. Thank God for that. But
yeah, man. Hold on, that sounded like something that I was reading, and yeah, it was.
Mm-hmm.
The cheating thing is non-negotiable, man.
Heck no, for man or woman. You as a leader
Both
in
sides.
the house, how are you gonna be able to cheat, but then your followers can emulate what the leader's doing? The hypocrisy. It disgusts me, man. Anyway.